You know, you don't have to wait till you have everything you need to get started, right? You don't need to save up the money to get started. You don't need the equipment you need to get started. You don't really need the skills to even get started. The only thing you really need is the confidence and the will to eat shit. You may think that you need X, Y, Z to get even 1 foot into the door, when in reality, you can do so many things before you even get quote unquote started. Before I started making content, I thought I needed to become someone. And arguably, you could say that I'm not even anyone right now. I'm just a guy in a room, yet I have 3,000 subscribers on YouTube. I thought I needed a perfect camera to even make my first video. But the fact is, after I think around 100 videos, I still don't have a camera. I'm using my iPhone 11 with the front-facing camera recording this video. The only equipment that I really bought was this mic. And this mic was really cheap, plus I didn't buy it when I first started. The only thing I had when I first started was my phone and myself and my past experiences. I was 18 when I started this channel, and you're probably thinking, what experiences could you possibly have at 18 to be able to make multiple videos every single day? The thing is, it's all in the mind. If you believe you don't have any experiences to share, then you don't have any experiences to share. If you believe that every individual experience a person has in their life is equally as valuable as someone with more subscribers or less subscribers, then you're just helping yourself out, right? Which mindset would you rather adopt? Would you rather adopt the mindset of someone that believes that their experiences are inferior to other people with more fame, more subscribers, and even more older? Or would you rather adopt the mindset that every single human in this world is unique and has different experiences to each other, which can be shared and which value can be learned? Obviously the latter, right? So going back to the main point of this video, you don't have to wait for the perfect time to get started. Because this notion that you need the capital to get started, you need a degree to get started, these are all just silly excuses to the fact that you're scared to start and you're scared to fail. And look, I completely understand you. When you're doing something big, like content, for example, where you're putting yourself out there to the world, where millions, billions of people can see you. So obviously you want to put up the best version of yourself online. So before you even make your first video, you deliberately plan. You need to make sure all the boxes are ticked. You need to make sure this is there, that is there. I have this, I have that. But in reality, you make all these preparations, you get all the fancy gear, and 9 times out of 10, the video gets like 10 views, 100 views, 1,000 views at most. So my question to you is, do you care about growing a successful career on YouTube, or do you just care about how others perceive you? Because the way in which you're doing things seems like you're just trying to showcase a version of yourself that is perfect, which doesn't really exist, right? And we know that. When instead, if you actually want to grow successfully as a YouTuber, as a creator, as a business owner, whatever, you're just going to have to focus on putting in the reps. And again, this doesn't just apply to content. This applies to business. Let's say you want to start a soap business and you want to sell your handmade soaps. Your first thought is, well, first I need to make the soaps before I even do anything, and I also need to make an Instagram page, I also need to make this, I need to make that, I need to invest $1,000 into making stocks of soap. First of all, are you certain that you actually want a soap business? And the answer to that is probably yes, but how could you know for certain if you haven't even put in the hours yet? How could you know your favorite sport is tennis if you've never played tennis before? Second, do you even know if people are gonna buy? Let's think logically for a second. How do you know that your soap is gonna sell compared to other competitors when you haven't even put your soap out in the market and you already wanna buy $1,000 worth of stock and you wanna put in all these hours into a business that isn't even guaranteed yet? Well, not even guaranteed. There's no proof of concept. And third, in order to start any business, really, you don't actually need money. See, it depends on what you define as start. What do you actually mean when you start a business? Is it when you acquire an LLC? Does that officially begin the markings of starting a business? Or is it getting your first sale? Or is it starting your first steps at building the business? What do you define as starting your business? See, to me, starting a business means taking the actions required to begin your entrepreneurial journey. Just taking that specific action required to take your first steps. So in order for me to start a soap business, I would obviously need to have soap, and I would obviously need to have customers, and I would obviously need some sort of system where I could deliver these soaps to them. But the thing is, that doesn't have to be the first step. The first step could literally be asking people, hey, would you buy these soaps? Even if you don't have these soaps, just get a picture of them, right? Or even just get a mock-up of them, or don't even show them a picture, just ask them, would you even buy soap from me, right? And that's already starting your business. Asking those questions to strangers is already a step in your business. And that's what a lot of people struggle to understand. That's why they have this mindset where, oh yeah, I need to get the capital first, blah, 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 blah. But there's so many steps that you need to take before you even begin that stage, where most people get caught up in. Because what happens is they waste so much time trying to save up all this money, only to take their very first step once they've spent like a year trying to save up money. When in reality, they could have spent that year taking those initial steps so that when it is actually time for them to spend the capital, they already have all the sub skills needed for them to actually succeed. And they could also find out if they actually want to continue in the soap business. Maybe some of them might be like, you know what, this is not for me. But hey, I didn't waste a whole year trying to save up for something just for me to quit at the end. Same goes for film school, right? You want to start making your first film, but you're so caught up on getting that degree, getting that course in film school, or getting into film school. But you can literally make films on your phone. Sure, it's not cinema quality, it's not university quality, and it's not the standard in which you think a film is, but it's still taking the steps required to actually begin film school, isn't it not? See, I personally believe people with these excuses simply don't want the thing that they say they want enough. If you really wanted to start a business, you wouldn't wait for the perfect moment. You wouldn't wait until you have XYZ to begin, to even start the first initial step. If you really wanted it, you would begin as soon as possible. And the thing is, I know you really want it, yet you still get caught in the trap of waiting until this, waiting until that. But just logically think with me for a second. Isn't it better for you to learn all the little sub skills, or even the main skills it takes to succeed in whatever endeavor you're trying to pursue, by saving up the money, by practicing while also saving up the money for the camera, for the business, for whatever? Because if person A decides to make videos with whatever resource they have while saving up for a camera, after a year, they would have enough money to buy a camera, but then they would also have a year of experience making videos. Compared to person B, who said, you know what, let me just lock it on my 9 to 5, save up for my camera, and then finally I can start thinking about content. So then they have no experience until they get that camera. So person A actually knows what they're doing. All the little details, all the little sub skills that comes into making videos, they know once they have the camera, so they can actually use the camera in their full potential, which continues the momentum that they've been building up for a year. Compared to person B, who has no idea what he's doing, the only thing he has is a better camera. It's really that simple. So if you want to start something, you don't need to wait for X thing. You don't need to wait until you have the money. You don't need to wait until you have the skill. You don't need to wait until you have the fancy gear. All you need is confidence and the will to actually do it.